Hi everyone, welcome to World of Tanks with stewiejp. I'm Stewie, you're not, neither any of these blokes. This is my old mate Abe Froman. Abe Froman from 1AR clan. Every clan out there has got their legends and 1AR is no different. That's right, Abe Froman's been part of 1AR for longer than I can remember. Since Fanny was a girl's name. 1AR, Abe Froman's been part of this and he's been well known for his skills in artillery. He knows a lot about every artillery you could possibly imagine, and he's a nice bloke. I met him at one of the Clan Wars meetups a while ago now up in sunny Sydney, and he's here on Karellia in the M53 M55, the Tier 9 American Artillery piece, which a lot of people, including Abe, will tell you that it's probably better than the Tier 10. One of the artillery pieces that often gets picked for Clan Wars is not necessarily a Tier 10. Sometimes I'll pick the M53, M55, not just with 1AR, but in some of the other clans that I've noticed that we play up against. When they've got an artillery, it's not always a Tier 10 arty. Sometimes the M53, M55 works as well. A little bit about the tank. It's a Tier 9 American Artillery piece. As we have mentioned, it's got a 203mm HE round, 1,050 potential damage. Now, this might change, and at some stage this might change. Remember, Wargaming have been talking about changes to high explosive ammunition, but at the start, with the first round of changes, if you like, they've come out and said that they're not going to touch premium tanks, HE, or artillery pieces. But you never know. You never know. You never know at all. Now, Abe Froman from 1AR is in the M53, M55. He just got that. He just got the Super Conqueror there for 368 hit points of damage. Let's have a look at the shell again. It's a 203mm gun, high explosive, 1,050 potential damage. Of course, with HE, that's only if it pens. You'll only get that 1,050 hit points of damage if it penetrates, and it often doesn't penetrate, especially when you're shooting against heavily armoured targets, such as the Super Conqueror. That's why I got 368 damage with the splash. 52 millimeters of penetration. We've talked about penetration. And the maximum stun duration is 12.6 seconds. The minimum, I should say, is 12.6 seconds. The maximum, 28 seconds. Now, with the standard round will look exactly the same. All those figures are exactly the same with the standard rounds. The main difference is the splash radius between standard and premium HE rounds in artillery. The main difference is the splash radius, which doesn't come up in game, but the splash radius will be a little bit of a wider circle for the premium round. Now, Abe's team are already down by a tank. The score's 1-2. Abe's picked up 368 hit points of damage already. 2 Tier 9 tanks have been taken out of the game, the Type 61 and the AMX 1390. Abe won't be too happy about the 1390 being taken out. Being a light tank's going to be spotting for tank destroyers and also for artillery, of which Abe is famous for. Abe Froman. I think he has changed his name back. He might be called Von again, and that name might ring a bell more than Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago might. 1-3's the score. Another tank just got taken out. The Waffenträger Aufpanzer 4, killed by the TVP T5051. Now that last shot, looks like that last shot hit all three of those enemy tanks. The Panzer Kampfwagen 7, the 60 TP, and the Conqueror. It came up as a notification that all three were stunned. He got some assisted damage, 407 assisted damage, and that's in the bottom left-hand side of the screen if you can see it. And that's damage done to an enemy tank after they've been stunned will give you a form of assisted damage in the same way a light or a medium tank might get some spotting damage or some tracking damage, or any tank might get some tracking damage as well. 1-4's the score though. The score not looking too good. He just puts another one into the M46 pattern. Now that's a good example of splash damage. He didn't hit the pattern directly, but he did stun him. Didn't pick up any more assisted damage, but he did get 408 hit points of damage into the M46 pattern, Tier 9 American medium tank. 1-4 the score now, which is looking a little bit dire straits, but looking at the minimap, the south part of Karellia isn't looking too bad. There's lots of tanks between Abe and those frontline enemy heavy tanks, and there they are there. And that's why he's aiming for these heavy tanks. If he can stun, track, and damage these three heavy tanks that are over here, his friendly tanks might be able to shoot him and give him some more assisted damage. Sets the Panzer Kampfwagen on fire for 278 hit points of damage by fire before his fire extinguisher kicks in. You also got another 401 damage into the Tier 10 German heavily armoured heavy tank. The one that looks like the Clan Wars reward, looks like the VK 7201K, I think it might be called. It's a Panzer Kampfwagen 7 though, that's now in the Tech Tree. 1-5 the score, looking a little bit looking a little bit dubious. 1,807 damage done so far, 407 assisted damage. He keeps looking over there towards the donut. The Object 907 on Abe's team doing a pretty good job keeping vision on those tanks on the hill again. Looks like he hit 2 tanks with 1 shot again. He got 50 hit points of damage onto the 60 TP, and he also got 374 damage into the Panzer Kampfwagen 7 again, before getting another 368 damage of assisted damage as the Object 705A killed the Tier 10 German heavy tank. The EBR 90 on the enemy team goes down as well, bringing the score back to 3-5, and all of a sudden it's not looking quite as bad as before. Super Conqueror out in the open. Abe will be licking his lips now, saying, rightio, Super Conqueror, yep, keep driving there, I'll just shoot you there. Hopefully he goes unspotted, so we don't know how much damage that shot might have done, but if that hit the back of the engine deck on the Tier 10 British heavy tank, he certainly would have felt it, that's for sure. And Abe would have been hoping maybe for a fire. Who knows? 2 fires in one game might be. If you get 2 fires in one game, my advice to you is get down there and buy a Tats Lotto ticket. If you can get 2 fires in one game, I tell you what, I don't do it very often. 4-5 the score now as another enemy tank goes down. I think that was maybe the T54E1. I missed it. 4-5 the score, 2,231 hit points of damage, 775 assisted damage. He fires again towards the 60 TP, gets him for 390 hit points, leaves him on 310, which should be a one-shot for that 705A, if that 705A can get one to penetrate the Polish heavy tank. 4-5 the score. Abe Froman from 1AR clan, the Sausage King of Chicago, in the M53, M55, looking towards the Super Conqueror in the east now. He's out in the open, and I don't think he's going to get behind that rock before Abe reloads. You can see the reload. He's looking at that reload thing going up and up, saying, come on, get up. There it is. Pulls the trigger, shoots him. That's his first kill of this game. 1 kill to Abe Froman from 1AR clan, the best clan in the universe. And Abe Froman, an absolute legend of 1AR, artillery specialist, and pretty handy in the other tanks as well, must be said. People often ask me or other members of 1AR if they can ask Abe for some advice on an artillery which might be a good idea for a specific mission. If you need to get some stun an amount of enemy tanks, or if you need to get some assisted damage, or if you need to get some kills, or whatever it might be, or a certain amount of all these personal missions. There's hundreds of them. A lot of the time, people ask me and other members of 1AR to ask Von. He nearly gets his second kill, gets a couple of 100 hit points, but the STB1 picks up the kill on that Conqueror, and that brings the score back to a much more healthy 8-6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Tier 10 tanks on Abe's team. Only 4 on the enemy team. The Super Conqueror goes down, but I think the enemy Super Conqueror got taken out pretty much simultaneously, bringing the score up to 8-7. 8-8 now as that 705A, who's been bravely holding that corner, finally goes down, and Abe looks towards the 705 saying, rightio, I'd be taking a blind shot. So does Von. He clearly agrees with me. 8-8's the score. Now Von, Abe Froman, I should say, the Sausage King of Chicago, often gets asked questions about artillery. What artillery should I use for this specific mission? And I'll tell you, he's always happy to oblige. He always gives a very, a better answer than I could give. But it must be said, he's also played more games in normal tanks than your average players. Played plenty of games in his normal tanks. Don't worry about that. He's not just an artillery player. Not that there's anything wrong with artillery players, but he's got. I think I'm being quite clear. Very, very helpful when it comes to people wanting to know what's a good idea for what's a good arty to bring for a specific mission. Anyway, the score's 8-8. Abe Froman from 1AR clan. On 1 kill, 3,001 hit points of damage, 1,092 assisted damage. That's damage done after he's stunned the enemy team. Aiming back at the donut. That Object 907 doing a great job. What kind of health is he on? He's on 728, which isn't too bad. Abe looking firmly where the Object 704 was last seen. There's also a Leopard 1 down there and a TVP T5051. 2 blind shots have been thrown in towards these tanks. The Object 704, not long after he went unlit, Abe put a blind shot into where he was last spotted, roughly where he's aiming now. Also the TVP, who was last spotted just in here, you can see that on the minimap. Abe put a blind shot in there not too long ago. Maybe that might have damaged him, it might have stunned him, it might have taken some of his health off. I've got no idea how many hit points the TVP or the Object 704 was last seen on. The Leopard 1 hasn't been seen for some time either. The STB1 on Von's team, coming back now to sit on the base. Maybe not too confident in his team. 4 tier 10 tanks left on the enemy team. The Object 268 version 4. I don't think he's been spotted this game. Also the 907, the Leopard 1 and the TVP. The Leopard 1 and the TVP all last spotted near the donut. The Object 268 version 4, I don't think he's been spotted this team, which is it's unusual. It's not really the kind of tank which you'd... Not normally the kind of tank destroyer you might see sitting in a bush. Abe looking now at the 704. If he can get this kill, it'll be the lead. Blind fires towards where he thinks the Object 704 might be, and no cigar, unfortunately. 6 rounds remaining. Sometimes with some artillery pieces, and Von will tell you this, with some artillery pieces, they sometimes the biggest challenge is the amount of ammunition the thing carries or doesn't carry. Some of them don't carry many at all. I can't remember how many the American one carries, but it looks like there's a bit of a fight going on here. The Object 268 version 4 has finally been seen, and he's gone charging in towards the Emil 2, the tier 9 Swedish auto-loading heavy tank, and now he goes for the ram on the Object 430. He's looking at it, he's like, well, you've got to take the shot. Shoots the Object 268 version 4 for 396 damage. The Object 430 gets killed by the 907, but I think that was a given. He was down to 30 odd hit points anyway. The shot did stun the Object 430, but he'd already fired his shot, and I think the 907 on the enemy team had a very, very clear shot into the side of the Object 430. 8-10 the score now. Abe Froman on 1 kill. 3,397 hit points of damage done. 1,092 assisted damage. 3.5 minutes left on the clock. I envisage the enemy team are probably going to have some kind of push pretty soon. The TVP T5051 looking towards the STB. The STB on 1,815 hit points. What was the TVP on? I can't remember. The Object 704 I think is pretty low. The 907 hanging around near the donut. The Batchat 25T looking towards the 268 version 4. The 268 version 4 just goes unspotted. There he is again. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get one into him. 217 hit points. Better than nothing. Not bad for a miss. Takes him down to 450. 450 definitely much more manageable than the amount of health he was in. The 907 just took a big shot there. 8-11 to score. 4 tanks remain. The Object 907 on very low hit points. The STB-1 over there on 1,522 hit points. Looks like he just got shot from the TVP. The Striv is going to try to help with the donut, and Von's going to join in here. Abe Froman, Sausage King of Chicago, legend of 1AR clan. Some might say artillery specialist. I'd say all-round specialist. I think he's played every tank on the tech tree for sure. He certainly knows his way around, and as mentioned, often gives people some very, very good advice about what artillery piece, amongst other tanks, not just arties, TDs, mediums, heavies, you name it, to use for personal missions. And good thing that he moved, because something is on the cap. I'm guessing it's a 268 version 4 coming in Von's direction. 9-12's the score. 3 tanks remain. Von in the M53, M55. The Striv and the STB-1. The 907 is coming to play. Von's got 2 marks of excellence on this tank. I reckon he'll have a third one sooner or later if he keeps playing like this anyway. 3,614 damage done. That we've seen. Remember, that amount of damage that you can see there is not... Here we go. Bang! Shoots the 907 for 323 assists, 444 damage done. He's flying here. He's going straight for the 90. You can see that the 90 is a threat. Ram kills him in the artillery. That's how it does for his second kill. That just leaves a Leopard. The Leopard kills Von, unfortunately, but he went down swinging, that's for sure. That's how many people have got a kamikaze in a tier 9 American artillery. There's probably a few. Who knows? Who knows? There might be a few. Before the voice goes, we're going to wind up today's video. The Striv is still playing. I'm not sure if Striv is going to be able to take on the last remaining 5 enemy tanks. If he does, it's a Kolobanovs, and good luck to him. The 2 tanks are capping now. The 268 version 4, and I'm guessing... maybe the Leopard? No, the Leopard's right there with the 704. 268 version 4, and either the enemy Striv or the Batchat 15555 have got the cap points on that one. They capped it out in the end. Didn't go for the last kill on the Striv. Capped it out, but Von certainly did his job. It might not have been a win. It might not have been a win at all, but it might have been. It was definitely an Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. An Ace Tanker Mastery Badge. Also the Bruiser Medal for doing some enemy crew and internal modular damage. Gauze medal for doing 10 times the hit points of his vehicle. He got 5 bonds, and of course he got the kamikaze for ram killing an enemy at higher tier. And don't forget, he survived the ram too. The ram isn't what killed him. The leopard shot him in the end, and that's what sent Abe Froman back to the garage. But he did plenty of assisted damage on all of those tanks. Now in game, it was showing 4,141 hit points of damage. Let's have a look and see if any of those blind shots went through. They certainly did. 4,141 is what it showed in game. 5,657 hit points of damage done. So what's that? 1,500. A bit over 1,500 damage done by the blind shots. I'm guessing the blind shots that he was throwing in towards the donut. 2 kills, 741 base experience. He fired 17 shots, 7 hit, none penned, but of course HE works a little bit different. 21 splash damage. That's that. Because he was shooting more than one tank at the same time, so of course he splashed it with the HE. 5,657 damage done, 1415 damage to enemy vehicles, stunned by the player, 19 stuns in that. That's not too bad, not too bad at all. Cost him a few credits though, 79,972. That's after tax. With a premium account in that 14-minute game, not too bad. That's what he's named the replay. Von has still got it. You bet he has. The one of the legends of 1AR, and an absolute pleasure to meet in real life. Back in the Sydney Booze Up a while ago now. Anyway, massive thanks to Abe Froman, a.k.a. Von the Burglar, for that epic replay of the M53, M55. Not a win, but a kamikaze in an arty. That's got to be worth that. That's got to be worth more than a win. And if he keeps playing like that, he'll have 3 marks on that bad boy. No problems whatsoever. And on behalf of all the players, a massive thanks to Von, a.k.a. Abe Froman, for all the advice he's given. I know heaps of people he's given advice to about what arty to use for missions, as well as other tanks to use for missions. Very knowledgeable man. Anyway, thank you very much for the replay, Von. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care, and see you all next time.